Celebrating this National Crime Victims' Rights Week, it is my pleasure this afternoon to present to you for our welcome and overview President Ms. Wanda Bynum Ashley.
Good afternoon. I am deeply honored to welcome you to the press conference and restoration service. As we recognize Crime Victims' Rights Week, we appreciate you joining us today. The 2023 theme is Survivor Voices, Elevate, Engage, Effect Change. This year's theme calls upon communities to amplify the voices of survivors and create environments where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, believed, and supported, and to raise public awareness about victims' rights, protections, and services. Recognizing this week gives us an opportunity to bring the victims' assistance community together. Since its inception more than 2 decades ago, the Center has never wavered from its commitment to provide assistance to crime victims by connecting them to services that affect their hearts, minds, souls, and bodies. As we come together for National Crime Victims' Rights Week each year, we honor the memories of those who have been lost to violent crimes and to show support for the survivors and surviving families. The work we do is top priority. Not only this week, but throughout the year, we will continue to commit to elevate and engage survivors to lift their voices. We will continue to provide victims with services that will ultimately help the quality of their lives and help them transition back to self-sufficiency. Again, thank you for your presence and have a great afternoon.
Thank you, Madam President. Next, we will have a legislative perspective by the Honorable Linda Chesterfield, Arkansas State Senate, District 34.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, Mr. MC. How's everybody?
All right.
We should be celebrating. We should be celebrating survival.
Yes.
Because when individuals have gone through some things and they can come out of it almost whole, we ought to be celebrating. In the Arkansas legislative session, which just ended, one of the most taxing of my career, to say the least, we recognize one thing. We must have some mental health provisions for those who have gone through difficulty. We cannot get through this without people getting the help that they need. And so many people have suffered such awful things. I was talking to a friend today, didn't realize all of her story because sometimes we just aren't listening. She told me of being abducted. This is a successful young woman. Being abducted by somebody who felt that she belonged to him. Too many women and too many young men are being abducted because somebody believes they belong to them. We belong to ourselves.
Yes.
We ought to have control over our own bodies. We ought to be able to say what we will and will not do as far as we are concerned. But there are those hanging around who want to take that away from us. And we must here today say no.
No.
When we passed this comprehensive legislation dealing with crime, there were some good things in that bill. But I keep reminding them you can't build your way out of this. There's not enough prison space. We've got to find a way to change people's homes. And we've got to find a way to change people's spirits. Because if we do not, pretty soon there won't be anywhere for people to live because prisons are going to be there. That's not the answer. I'm always so delighted to be here with Joyce because of what her story is. Because it's not only the victim that must overcome the difficulty, it is also their families. And as families, we may decide that we're going to sit on the sidelines and wring our hands and do nothing about it, or we can decide it's time to get to work. The legislature has given us some tools. It's time to recognize that those who hurt our children will not go unpunished. It is time to recognize that those who take advantage of young men and young women and make them traffickers of sex is not okay. You're going to pay a penalty. But even more importantly, it's time for us as a community to say, we're going to look out for each other. There are signs all around us of abuse. When you go hunting, you know very well that that's one of the places that trafficking takes place.
Yes.
Exponentially. Yes. How do I know? I take these courses with my husband as he talks about human trafficking. But each one of us must be willing to say something. We cannot afford to be uninvolved. We must be our brothers and our sisters' keepers. And as legislators, we've done some good things to help. I hope that the things that I disagree with don't put a hindrance on where we can go forward. But with you here today, law enforcement, citizens coming together, legislators saying we are of one accord on this. We need to cut out the number of victims that we continue to have. And where we have not, we will collectively make them pay. God bless you and keep you.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Next on the agenda is the city's promise. The Honorable Frank Scott Jr., Mayor, City of Little Rock.
First and foremost, I want to take this opportunity to tell Senator Chesterfield how much we appreciate you. You've been fighting a good fight at the legislature for quite some time, and we know your voice is heard loud and clear. And that's why we make sure that you continue to do the things that you're doing, and we're very grateful. Secondly, we're here today not only to share the city's promise, but what I want to do is talk about Miss Joyce Rayner. She'll come up just for a little bit. She has a ministry that she's been committed to for a very long time. And that ministry is to help others in their most darkest times of need. And she's made that commitment, she's made that promise. She's helped advise me over the years. I'm very grateful for that because if you know Joyce Rayner, she's going to tell you exactly the truth. And that truth helps elevate everyone. And that elevation creates effective change. And so what we've been able to see under the Little Rock Police Department, you look at when violent crime was on the rise, Joyce Rayner was there to make certain that we never forgot, not only are we fighting crime, but fighting for our victims and ensuring that they were looked after. Now we're experiencing violent crime is down -6%. She too has still been there as we focus on not only targeting patrols and community policing, but prevention, intervention, and treatment efforts. And again, she makes certain that the victims are still taken care of. And so I want her to know, and want the community to know how much we appreciate you for all that you continue to do. And the City of Little Rock now proclaims this, not only to be Crime Victims' Rights Week, but I want everyone to know this really should be Joyce Rayner Week.
Amen. That's right. That's right.
She said always. And so we just want to share this appreciation to her on behalf of the City of Little Rock and City of Little Rock Board of Directors. I know Chief Pelton's here as well as Assistant Chief Dyer and others, and what they continue to do and work with you. And I know the seamless communication that they have. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
So if I fuss at him, he can remember the good times.
Thank you. I'm gonna take this opportunity to go a bit off script, and take this opportunity to introduce my new chief, Heath Pelton. Heath, you come.
Good afternoon. It's certainly an honor to be here today, especially as we here to celebrate this National Crime Victims' Rights Week. I'm beginning to think President Ashley might have gotten my pocket somehow, because some of the words I had written down to speak, she spoke too. So I'll reiterate just a few of those things, because I do think they're important to hear over and over again. Each year we come together to celebrate National Crime Victims' Rights Week, to support the memories of those who have lost their lives to violent crime, show support for our survivors and the surviving family members. It's also an opportunity to show our commitment as law enforcement agencies to pursue justice for victims. This year's theme was talked about: survivor voices, elevate, engage, affect change. It's important that we continue to support our victims by engaging and elevating survivors to be heard, affecting policy and practice change, and also, most importantly, is to help affect support for change and/or change. The men and women of Little Rock Police Department consider the work that we do for victims a top priority. Those working with victims of crime and their families want to create an environment where survivors have the confidence that they will be heard, they believe and supported. It's important that survivors are listened to and engaged at every level in the criminal justice process. Our Victim Services Unit, to me, is above the rest. We do a great job. All the agencies that have their victim rights services do what they can to provide that service. But I'm extremely proud of our unit. We continue to grow that unit under the direction of Ms. Candy Haas and her team, who I can't speak highly enough of the great work that they do. I know a lot of times victims sometimes feel like they're not getting enough or whatever, but I can tell you, they lose a lot of sleep at night trying to go above and beyond to try to help, and our detectives do a tremendous amount of work. They bear a lot of the brunt to try to make sure they bring that closure, make sure it makes it to the court, and we can get that justice that is deserved for our victims and their families. So on behalf of the men and women of the Little Rock Police Department, we're honored. We will continue to support this endeavor. And Ms. Rayner, we're here for you. Always here to support you. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Chief. Next, we will have Chief Patrick Fessing, North Little Rock Police Department. You don't clap for you, Chief.
Hey, this is kind of special for me because I don't get invited over this side of the river very often. But I have to say, with Heath over here, he's a good friend. We have a partnership that we'll cross that river, and we're going to work together as one our job is for the victims. That's why we're here. Yeah, we're here for justice, but when you boil it all down, we're here for the victims. We're here for their families, and we're here for the communities that we serve. And without those communities, we're nothing. We need that help. We need those relationships. We look at any successful police department, and you will see that it's built on the relationships that we have, that Keith and I have, that we make with other people. Senator Chesterfield, she's a good friend. She's taking good care of me sometimes. Thank goodness.
No gunshots.
But just know that on the other side of the river, we're just as committed as the Little Rock Police Department is at taking care of victims, taking care of their families. Yeah, we pursue justice. That's what we do. That's what everybody will over here. That's his end of the deal. But we're here. We're here for the people. We're here for those families. And I'd like to recognize our victims advocate, Edna Ramirez. I think most of y'all might know her. She goes above and beyond. She works weekends, and what she does for people is absolutely amazing. It doesn't matter where they come from, or it doesn't matter what happened to them. She's there for them. She works very hard to make sure that they get what they need. And so we're very proud of her. We're proud of what we do. We're proud of the work we do. And we're proud of our relationships. And we'll keep at that. And I hope that we'll always live up to your expectations of what that relationship should be. So thank y'all for inviting me. This is a privilege for me. And y'all are welcome over on the other side of the river and see me out. So thank you.
Next in, there will be Chief Carl Menden, Bryant Police Department.
I spent 21 years at the sheriff's office, so and I think the vast majority of the times I spoke as a member of the sheriff's office. I'm basically just going to reiterate what my colleagues have said. I mean, obviously, Joyce, I've worked with you for I don't know how many years. If there's a committee Joyce can put me on, she's done it, and I love serving with her. I even love going to church with her too. I just can't thank you for the work you've done. Everybody's like, why is the Bryant chief here? But a lot of people don't realize this center doesn't just cover Little Rock. It doesn't cover North Little Rock. It doesn't cover Pulaski County. It stretches down to Pine Bluff. It goes to Bryant. It goes to Hot Springs. It goes to Conway.
25 counties.
25 counties. They're all over the place. And I mean, and that is not a huge staff, but they are who we use for our victim service in Saline. I don't have a large enough. I'm not Heath. I don't have 600 officers. So I'm much smaller. So, and I don't have the data and stuff like that. So the center is who we use, and they do a great job of providing services to smaller communities that wouldn't have that victim resource. And I speak to these people over on this side because I know that you're the survivor. And I just want to tell you, as a police officer, I mean, we feel your pain and we love you. And I know you may think that at the end of the day that we celebrate our successes. Hey, we solved this case, we did that. I'll be honest, I don't remember the cases that we solved. I remember the cases that we didn't solve. I don't remember our successes. I'm tormented by our failures. And for those of you out there that we haven't solved your case, I truly hope that you realize that the detectives, the men and women of the law enforcement community, it challenges them every day to solve those cases. It may seem like that they've got 12,000 other cases going on. They're not giving you the one-on-one that you need. And I wish that there wasn't case after case after case after case getting stacked on us. And it, if you didn't feel like that your case wasn't the number one priority, I hate that. And I apologize for that. Because I know the men and women that work in law enforcement, and that's not their mantra, and that's not where they're at. They want to be there for you. They want to solve that case. Trust me, and I hope you feel that. At the end of the day, that's the greatest thing we get out of doing stuff. Like Pat said it. All crime relates to a victim, whether it's a societal victim or whether it's an individual family or like that. It's intertwined. We're there to solve that. When we don't solve it, it's a failure for us. So, and I hope you truly appreciate the fact that we do love you and we do strive to do everything we can to solve the case. For those who still have open ones, prayer is you get closure with the need. This week is for you. I hope you're joyous because this is personal to her. It's not just a mission that she took on. There's a reason why she does it. It's a very strong reason. It's a very great reason. It's a tremendous loss that she has suffered. But she gives back to you through her loss. And I hope you appreciate the fact that we have such an outstanding person like this in our community that's willing to do that. Thank you.
Thank you to all the officers who've come now from the law enforcement perspective. I want to present to you Mr. Will Jones, 6th District Prosecuting Attorney.
Need to follow Carl everywhere I go, because that way I know I'm not going to be the first one to get something and be punished. So that's good. It's humbling to me to stand with all these folks and so many folks in law enforcement that I've had a long-standing relationship with, Ms. Rayner, and so many friends, people that I call dear friends. And when I talk about how long we've been working together, I'm also admitting what our ages are. That's fine too. It's hard to say. There's most everything that needs to be said has already been said, but I just want you to know from, I think that the chief will reiterate this, and our chief deputy, Kelly Ward, is here, the prosecutor's office as well, and I want you to know, I want the citizens to know that we have a renewed level of cooperation and relationship with our law enforcement partners here in the 6th Judicial District. And sometimes that means that we're out on the scenes together at homicide scenes. We're there, not because we think they need our help, because they don't know what they're doing. It's just I want them to know, and I want your families to know that we're going to be there with you all the way from the beginning to the end. And I think that relationship is already paying dividends, and these are folks that I've known and respected for a long time, and I'm glad to serve with them again. So I really just want to leave you here. I spoke with a group this morning, and we talked about empowering and lifting victims' voices, and that's kind of the theme of this week. And I came across a quote, and I want to share that with you because I think that sums up everything that folks like Ms. Rayner, and folks that work with victims every day and families every day, this sums up what they do and why we're here. This is from Eli Wiesel. He is a Holocaust survivor and a Nobel Prize winner. And in his Nobel Prize winning speech in 1986, this is a quote that he said about victims. What all these victims need, above all, is to know that they are not alone. That we are not forgetting them. And that when their voices are stifled, we shall lend them ours. While their freedom depends on ours, the quality of our freedom depends on theirs. So that's worth repeating because it is so powerful in my opinion. That we have to let victims know that they are not alone and we're not forgetting them. And when their voices are stifled, we shall lend them ours. That's why we're here. That's what the criminal justice system is for. And you have my word that our office is going to work right alongside the men and women in law enforcement here in the 6th Judicial District to ensure that we get justice every single place in the world.
And thank you to all the presenters. Thank you to everybody that's here today. Now, with great pride and humility, I want to present to you what I call Boss Lady. Her name is Ms. Joyce Rayner. She's the Executive Director of the Center for Healing Hearts and Schools.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sit down. I am so happy. Number one, God smiled on us because it was raining this morning, and we're here on a bright, sunny afternoon. I was gonna say, look at the rain. It sort of portrays what our survivors are feeling through their tears. No rain. But it's an important, very important week. It's an important month. It's an important year. It's an important decade. Life is important. And it's really important to all the people that are here, to our survivors. I tried to reach y'all some of these. All y'all survivors over here. Just tell you. Not victims. We survived. Okay? So, y'all know the survivors. Okay? But also, it's so important because the theme this year, what is it? Survivors' voices. Even when we can't hear you, we still hear you. They still hear you. You know why they hear you? But they hear me. I'm just gonna tell you. All right. I have found that we got to talk to one another.
First of all, as a survivor, I know when these women and men get it, whether it's through an investigation, through a prosecution, whatever, the crime has already occurred. It's not them. It's that perpetrator out there. That's one of the things I want you to keep in mind. But also, through legislation, through my queen here, I mean, she's working hard at the legislature. Every time the door opens, she's there. Whether she's one voice or she got 5 voices, and right now she only have about 5. Okay, to be honest. Okay, but we need to also lend our voices to her because she have to make sure that we're taken care of, even when we don't know what's going on, even when people are trying to take our rights. Because guess what? You got rights. Victims have rights. That's the first thing that you know. This week you have a right, and next week you have the same right to know that you have a right to all these services. You have a right to have your voices heard. You have a right to make them impact statements, witness impact statements when you go to court. You have a right to talk to these men and these women and find out about your cases. They got an open door policy. If they have not had it, they're going to have it, okay? They have an open door policy because we're all out here advocating on behalf of all of you all of us. Now, truthfully, you know, I got into this because of my son 23 years ago, but that's not why I stay here. It's because we have to be the advocates that work on your behalf. And we're not the only ones, and I'm going to tell you about some of the others that are here too. But we work hand in hand with law enforcement agencies. A lot of times when we get the call, it's from someone with the law enforcement agency saying, we have a client here that really needs your help. We need them to say that. I need to hear from the churches. I need to hear from the community service organizations. I need to hear from individuals because everyone here should be an advocate on our behalf, on all of our behalf. We need to make certain that we can continue to raise the awareness of crime. Crime never going away, but we can reduce it through programs, and that's what we're working on. And if you all say, why does not the police make all this crime disappear? Yeah, come on. Let's be serious. They don't live in your homes. They don't live on your jobs. But one thing that you all can do, what you say, Mayor, you see something, what you do? Say something. You gotta say something. I'm tired of folks telling me about they're not the police. Yeah. Yes, police your home. Yes. Police your school. Police your community. But also say something to these men and women who are out here trying to help us. I wish I could say, no I don't. Take it back. We can't do this by ourselves. And first of all, I want to share our staff here. We got a lot of advocates here. And then I'm going to tell you about some other advocates. Because they're all standing back there and they're all advocating on your behalf. Darlington, many of you all know Darlington. Where's Darlington? Darlington Agnew over here. He's our victim services coordinator. Elnora Perkins, raise your hand. Over here. Y'all see her in court. Sharon Stout is over here. I want to tell you, you got other staff. Fatima Smith is here. Bishop, where's Bishop? Bishop, Eastern Arkansas. We got 4 counties down there we're working in. So yes, we're in other parts of the state. Rev up here, he's not just a handsome face, but he's also in South Arkansas, in Camden, El Dorado, Union, Columbia, Dallas, Washita counties. We have a lot of staff here. Tasia White, Tasia's over here. Because see, this is also Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Y'all know that? And then we got volunteers. Y'all, we need volunteers. Y'all, look. You're going to move from being victims to survivors to volunteers. Isn't that right, Ms. Harrison? Ms. Harrison, did she leave? She's right here. Ms. Harrison, don't we go to volunteers? We've got to take our pain and channel that energy into something else.
Yes.
We got to turn that pain around, okay? So I need you all to sort of sometimes put the crying towel down. That doesn't mean that we forgot about your loved one. keep them lifted. We want you to sign this board before you leave today. Put that loved one's name on that memorial wall. But also, we're going to plant a flower for that loved one. And you're going to come by all this spring, all this summer, and watch your plant grow. Because I'm going to put one in the dirt for Charles, for my child. And I'm going to watch this plant grow. I've actually got a tree at home that I planted for him 23 years old. 23 years ago. And it's important that this is how we try to remember, but also be proactive in our communities. I want everyone to get proactive. Look, your voices are not silenced. Look, right, what is that? What that say? Let me see yours. Let me see yours. We're all survivors. I can't sing, but if I can sing, what's that song? That's it. That's it. I would sing that song, but I want you all to know we have some wonderful volunteers out here. Susan Arks is here. Who else I had? Amber Stewart is here. Real Bledsoe is here. We get everyone to work, and there are so many others out here. We appreciate all of you all. So, you know, on behalf of our board of directors, you heard from our president of our board, Ms. Wanda Ashley, and there are some other board members who could not be here today. We appreciate you all coming out. We appreciate Mayor and all of our law enforcement officials, our prosecuting attorney's office. You know, some folks get mad at me when it comes to prosecution. I'm going to tell you. But I be thinking about you all when it comes to prosecution, because they're like, I don't want nobody else to go to prison. I don't want another black man to go to jail, or I don't want another black woman to go to jail. But let me tell you what, when I look in the faces of these individuals and see the pain is going to last them all of their lives, because we don't get over it, we get on with it, right? We get on with it. So I want y'all to support them in their efforts for prosecution. Support them in their efforts for arrest, because can you imagine what the society would be without law? So I want all of us to work together, and we're going to do whatever we can to assist all of our survivors, not just people who call themselves victims, but our survivors. So with that being said, if anyone have any questions, we have a lot of materials out there on our table. We had some snacks. I don't know if they're still there, but please, no particular order. We want you all to come and plant your flowers. No particular order. We want you to come and sign our memorial wall. Any questions? Anyone have need to come in or anything? Anyone that want to come in? Yes. Oh, I'm so sorry. Listen, I don't know why I forget about them. One of our strongest partners in this whole wide world. And since you mentioned it, I'm going to talk about it. Parents of murdered children. Look, look at them parents of murdered children. Yes. For 23 years, I said my son has been gone for 23 years. The first year that my son, I received this new card in my mail. It was about very big. And in that card, it was mustard seeds. And we just got faith. The size of a mustard seed. For 23 years, guess what I received? A card from parents of murdered children, recognizing those loved ones that we lost to violence. So I want to say, it took her anger. Not like she was off. She turned that around. She got busy. Earl over there, same way. He got on my nerves, but he got busy. And that's what I want us to do. Get busy, help someone else. But I'll tell you what, when you help someone else, you forget your own problems. And that's what I want you to do. Not that you forget your loved one, but you forget the way you feel sometimes. Because it will always feel like this way. But you'll always remember. The love will always be strong. But it won't always feel this way, will it? No, it changes. So with that being said, if no one else have anything else to claim our attention, anyone? Anyone have anything to say?
Thank you.
Okay.
Keep on doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Thank you.